Hello and welcome to another Wraggys Beers, Wines and Spirits Wraggys Taproom. So, back in the beer room and fire's on 2 bars because it's a bit chilly in here. And yeah, it's nice to be back in the land of the YouTubes. Let me just good evening, Thomas. Just make sure I've turned off me notifications, because what usually happens is that that's the last thing you want is my phone to and there we go. So, oh, got the old Lincoln Green top on tonight. I want to start wearing some of my t-shirts. Got about 20 odd t-shirts, beer related t-shirts. And obviously, it's that time of year. It's a bit blooming cold this time of year. So, I'm actually going to crack open tonight one of my Wraggies. And the funny thing is, I'm actually saving these bottles next year for when I get married. So I'm going to save the bottles and they're going to adorn the table. So that'll be a bit different. So time to crack open. And yeah, what a week in the world, eh? Jesus Christ. I mean, in general, I can't be done with the likes of BBC News. But I tell you what, it's been the news this week, watching the news. And even though a lot of it's bloody awful, but you know, it's good to see. It's good to see. Good evening, Henry. It's good to see the Ukrainians fighting back from whatever's going on. You've got to wonder about the mental state of Putin. Is he gone senile or something? Or because he's whatever he's doing, it's not calculated and strange. So, getting the old Wraggys Golden. Still, yeah. I mean, he's threatening the world. Really, now, what the world needs is China to come on board and say, pack it in. And will they? Won't they? Probably not. But it's what the world needs. You can't be threatening people with nuclear weapons, which is what he's doing. Disgusting. Good evening, Kevin. Was it England versus Wales yesterday in the rugby? I don't follow rugby, so I won't know. I was too busy painting all day. I've been painting. Oh dear. Tell you what, painting fences is the most boring job in the world. It just strips your brain. Although I've nearly done it. I won't be surprised if special forces from all around the world are already operating in over in Russia. I mean, if I was Russia's leaders, obviously not Putin, I wonder, you know, there's got to be a stage where if he goes too far, they overthrow him. No matter how powerful you are, there's always somebody who says that's enough. Woof. And it's what it needs. Good to the Ukraine though for doing what they're doing. Sad that people are losing their lives, and in some ways, it's sad that the Russian soldiers are losing their lives. They're only sheep sent into a war zone that they probably don't want to be in the first place. And you know, this is the thing about being in the army, isn't it? It's scary, isn't it? That you can be sent somewhere to a war that's a pointless war. Hey, not the only time, you know, they're not Russians aren't the only ones guilty of this over the years. Us going into Iraq in a lot of ways was a pointless war. But at least Iraq were doing naughty things. So cheers everyone on the golden stuff. Oh, what a fast weekend. I've been off 3 days this weekend and it's just flown by. Absolutely flown by. But done most of the stuff that I wanted to do. And yeah, and renewing the old vows in a year and a half, so that'd be fun. Yeah, 21st century. I mean, Jesus Christ. Didn't think we'd see another Hitler type thing going on. Ridiculous when you think about it. Absolutely ridiculous. Not needed in this lifetime. The internet. I mean, he may think he can close down the world, Russia off from the rest of the world, but you can bypass any internet. So stupid on his side of things. So the beer I made, and you know, it's still an awesome thing that this time it was about this time last year. Well, no, May time, wasn't it? That I actually went to Lincoln Green Brewing Company and brewed this actual beer, and it tastes different in cask. Got to be honest, but good evening, John. Yeah, 2,500. It's crazy how it goes up. I'm in a bit of a battle with Scott and Wonder. Yeah, they're on 2.57. I'm trying to catch up to them, but yeah, it was meant at 3.8%. You're talking it's a sessionable beer. That's what it's always aimed at. So it's not meant to be anything else but a sessionable ale, and that's what it is. It delivers on that. Three hops went in. Can't remember the bleeding hops for the life of me. I think Amarillo. Yeah, it's funny these subs, isn't it? I wonder if half the time that 2/3 of them are bloody bots, but you never know. I mean, when I sub to something, I don't. To be fair, I don't sub to a lot. To be honest, mostly beer reviews and a couple of Marvel channels and the theme park channels. That's about it. Um, it's the same with Facebook. Who you like on Facebook these days? When you like pages, all I get is spam across Facebook, Instagram, and not so much Twitter because Twitter seems to fly by. But yeah, there's a lot of spam on these social media channels. And I've kind of set myself up because I said when I get to 3,000, and obviously 3,000 is a long way away, but when I get to 3,000, I'm going to do that 75% beer. So yeah, let's not get there too quick. You could imagine, couldn't you? Somebody who's got a major channel looking and thinking, well, let's do it. Let's get him up there just to do drink that 75%. That'd be funny. Good evening, Tad. How are you? So yeah, the news. Bloody hell! I tell you what, if you've got any mental health issues, watching the news is not good for your mental health at the moment. I mean, it just seems to be going up, and the anti over at Ukraine just seems to be going up and up. And Europe, to be fair, playing the right thing, but we really do get Mrs. Raggy to do a review with you. Yeah. Yeah. She's had a good day today. She's gone out today. She's been to. Well, we went up to my workplace because I'm getting doing my yeah, it is, mate. Totally crazy days. We're getting our vows renewed at my workplace, so we've been there today, and it's dead weird when you're on the other side, because it's my work. I'm walking around, and it's like, yeah, it's my work, and it's so strange. And then she's been out this afternoon and gone to a couple of wedding places, and she's found a dress. Yeah, she said yes to the dress. So yeah, I wonder if I'll be doing the same when it's a suit, saying yes to the suit. Yeah, with me it'll be that fucker will do. Get it on, job's good, and I'll walk out. 10 minutes, I'll be done. Yeah, get the right colour. That's it. Job's a good one. It's mellow. This has. When I first got it out of a bottle, it was quite spicy. It's certainly mellowed into a more traditional beer than what it used to be. I mean, it was always traditional anyway. That's what Lincoln Green do, but yeah, it's certainly gone more that way. Well, it's funny because next year we've been together. We've been married for 25 years next year, and we've been together 32 years. Yeah, God. Oh, it's a beer that means a little bit to me. So the old, I don't know how they got it so shiny because wherever you put it, it shines. But the old Wraggys Golden. Yeah, thought I'd have a Wraggys Golden night tonight. I need to get empty bottles anyway because all the Wraggys Golden empty bottles I'm going to use next year as table decorations. Fun. But yeah, going down the tree. Oh, so another week ahead of us. Are we going to be here next weekend? God knows. Tell you what, you look at the world and it's a crazy old world, and you can't believe anything in the news at the moment. I mean, the way the Ukraine are fighting back, fair play to them. You know, let's be fair. If their army is 200,000 in the army, and then you've got millions taking up the arms. Tell you what, I would not want to be any army going into a foreign country because if any of these people have got anti-tank weapons, anti-aircraft weapons, machine guns, you're talking about a lot of pissed off people ready to fight back against the Russians. And you imagine them coming here and doing the same. Um, you know, protect your family. You want to shoot the hell out of anybody who comes anywhere near. And I tell you what, I think the Russians are going to get the arses out. They may win in the end, but they're going to lose a lot of people. I heard 4,000. I did with the soldiers they've lost. I mean, when you see all the women and saying, "I don't care if I die, I'm going to kill them," and it's like, wow, there's a lot of pissed off people in Ukraine, you know, and and then you look at all the countries around it now. And I tell you what, the best way to piss the world off is to do what the Russians are doing. They are alienating themselves against the whole world. China, I mean, you notice how all the Middle Eastern countries have stayed quiet. China's not said no. They're all staying very quiet because you know that there'll be protests in them countries soon about what's happening. Crazy times. And to think that all they needed to do was, come to an amicable conclusion. Strange. Anyway, back to the beer. Good evening, Mr. Goathead. How are you, matey? Yeah, hopefully Russia will end up bankrupt. Is it a Liverpool Chester penalty shootout? I did see it was 0-0. Yeah, yeah, I did see it was 0-0. Apparently, it's been an amazing game. The Chelsea and Liverpool game. Apparently, from the first minute it kicked off, it's been top notch. I'm going to be bottling me Imperial Start this week. So I've got it secondary fermenting upstairs, and I'm going to be doing loads of experimental things with the Imperial Stout. So in some bottles, brandy with the Imperial Stout, whiskey, and just trying to mix loads of different stuff because it's only me drinking it. And like a 500 ml bottle with a double shot of whiskey in, and then Imperial Stout to top it up to the 500 mils. And then doing this across, you know, any spirits I've got just to see, um, yeah, just to see what works and what doesn't work. Cracked open a bottle with no label. I am a prat. I am. I'm like that. I don't label a lot of my bottles. And you're there and you think, what's this? Good evening, Mr. Grimbarian. So do you brew in a bag? Because you're saying your grain bag will only hold 9 to 10 kilograms of grain. Because I'm thinking of going down the brew in a bag route, money permitting, obviously. But yeah, that sounds interesting to me. Very interested in the old brew in a bag. Yes, Danny. You know, the hackers of the world, and I know a lot of hackers from my Pico boiler. That's the one I'm interested in looking at. Oh, we need to chat. Yeah, the hackers of this world can do serious damage to governments. And Anonymous, the Russian have got their own vigilante hackers, but Anonymous is a worldwide collaboration of hackers, and they don't fuck about. And good on them, because you know no one likes dirty tactics and dirty play. And if it takes these people to take fuckers out, then all good. But yeah, that's the ball in the bag on the Pico. That's the way I'm going, because with the Pico, it's a thermostat. You can control the temperature, can't you? Ooh, and not too expensive either. So do you use your Pico to do the boiling, and then use a standard plastic bucket for the fermentation? Because obviously there's not just me who does home brewing here. There's Goathead and Tad, who also do home brewing, probably other people as well. Oh, I'll have to check your videos out. Definitely check your videos out. Good evening, Max. Because obviously most of us, you do it all in the Pico. Oh, right. That's interesting. Yeah, Tad, I was Brew Day supplies near me. They linked me to, because I can't afford the proper or the shenanigans. I can't do it. It is what it is. Um, so they showed me this. It's called a Pico, and basically it's a boiling kit. It's a boiler with a thermostat, so you can control the temperature. And then you use boil in a bag, uh, and you're doing grain brewing, but you're not paying out for loads and loads of equipment, which is what kills a lot of people off. So it's like budget grain brewing, which as somebody like me, I'm interested in doing, and certainly to do an imperial stout in one of those would be awesome. Good evening, Mr. Bramall. Yeah, I think you can see in Moscow there might be a bloody uprising at this rate, because you'd think someone would pop him, because he needs popping. Oh, so you fit a straining basket over the top of the boiler and do a slow sparge. Right, that's interesting. I'll have to check your video out to see how you do it, because obviously getting a big straining basket, not too much. A slow sparge. Do you mean like just doing hot water over the top with a kettle, basically? Hmm, interesting. Very interesting. It's always good for home brewers to go that bit further. And me as a home brewer, I want to go that bit further. Um, there's some good brewing kits out there these days. Love Brewing's Beer Works kits are outstanding, and they're good kits to play with. But to do your own um, grain brewing, it's definitely the way. And once you get it right, then there's always there's a chance to go a bit further, and especially when you've got pennies to buy the proper stuff. Oh, it's nice having 2 bars on in here. Right, that's interesting. So there's a way of doing a sparge without obviously having that sort of kit. Lincoln Green did show me their way of sparging, and it's really interesting how it's done. Yeah, what happened to England and Wales then? I have no idea. I don't watch it. Wasn't it Italy and somebody today? Ireland and Italy? I don't know. I'm not even watching football at the moment. Although Chelsea versus Liverpool, I'm kind of hoping Liverpool win because Chelsea's got a Russian owner, and yeah, he might have signed it over to somebody, so they don't take it off him or seize Chelsea. But you would think the billionaires of Russia would get Putin to back down, but I can't see it happening somehow. Unless all of a sudden they come to some miraculous bloody what's the word? Annex the country in half or something like that. You can see that happening, but who knows? Gee, scary word. He came second but didn't lose. It's funny when it's not a sport that you follow. It's difficult to actually take notice of it, but all good fun. So, yeah, post it on the beer review community. Yeah, because there's a lot of us who do a bit of home brewing, and a lot of us don't haven't got the pennies to go spending like couple of grand on kit. Don't fall asleep. I know it's deadly, isn't it? The only reason I'm sat here is because I haven't got a long enough leave to sit on the bit up there. Although to be fair, the fire's here and it's lovely, beautiful, and I'm not drunk either, so that's another good. Although I did have a couple of triple IPAs this afternoon just because I needed to chill out a bit. I bet the beer was good. Hey, oh god, yeah. I've had my homebrew all my homebrew stuff nearly 15 years now, so it don't owe me a penny. And to go down this ball in the bag route, I think it's really interesting. The rich will already the rich would the mega rich would already know something was going to crack off. I'm not surprised GoTed transferred their money into different currency. Well, you look at the ruble, it has nosedived, and the world will cut Russia off. Hopefully, if there's a world left. Oh, that really is interesting. Back in a box there. Yeah, I've never heard of it until Brewed Supplies told me about it. And if you've ever heard of Brewed Supplies, they do some grain kits that are basically local breweries to me in Nottingham. Bang the Elephant, Neon Raptor, Lenton Lane Brewery, and it's their beers, but in kit form, in grain kit form. So obviously you follow the instructions, blah blah blah, and yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, it's going to take a bit long, but hey, we've all got time, haven't we? I mean, for me at first, I'd probably just want to make imperial stout. But that's more the piss head coming out rather than the than anything else. Competition winning brews. Fair play, mate. Fair play on that. We've got a homebrew competition in Nottingham called Hop Idle. And it's where people, grain brewers and that, obviously not kit brewers, because if it's a kit, you're cheating a bit. But I ought to enter my triple IPA in it just for the laugh. Then when they say, "How did you do it?" I says, "I got a kit, put some fucking sugar in." But yeah, I do need to play around a bit. It's that makes me interested. The excitingness of going forward, and that ability to do beers that you probably wouldn't never do before. And I suppose there's recipes all over the internet. I mean, for me, I've got box ticking beers that I want to do, like an imperial plum porter, um, a ginger beer, an oak matured ginger beer, something similar to what Krabby's brought out years ago. So yeah, there's loads of good. And then there's like clones where you can do a clone of like Golden Pride, Fuller's Golden Pride, and that. Liverpool beat Chelsea then. I'm happy about that. I mean, I don't really care for either team, but with the Chelsea having the Russian connection, it's nice that they got beat. A good lager. Wilco's Partisan lager is not a bad lager. I know you're kidding the sweet shop, aren't you? Do you find that grain brewing's cheaper than brewing from kits? Because obviously, say the Love Brewing kit, the Imperial, it's 40 quid. Snake venom. And thank you, Mr. Yam Yam. Yeah, snake venom was blood. Yeah, that was strong. And I've already said when I reach 3,000, I want to do the Belfer Fire, which is 75% crazy ABV. Heritage beers and heritage malts. Because, I mean, if you look at some of so from a grain brewing perspective, there, because obviously it's interesting to me to have two people in the room who are definite grain brewers. Are traditional beers easier to brew from grain than, say, more craftier beers? Or is that not the case? Is something like an Imperial Stout easier to brew? I suppose it depends with pricing where you go, and if you can buy in bulk. If you know you're going to do certain beers and you buy in bulk, bulk's always better, isn't it? For anything. But I know that hops not cheap. I was reading, or I was told the other week. I think I was talking to somebody about Doom Bar. I was on a brewing tour, and apparently the original bloke who brewed Doom Bar, the amount of hops that used to go in the old days, today's brew of Doom Bar as a third or even less the equivalent amount of hops or number of hops. And that's why Doom Bar isn't the beer it used to be years ago, and it's mass produced. Always amazes me when they put fruit into beers. I mean, one of the breweries I know, they put they're doing a barrel aging thing. So Emperor's Brewery, he's brewed an imperial stout. He's got a load of cherries, some blood cherry, muscovado, I don't know, some cherry, and he's banged the impy stout and the cherries into a barrel. I think some like a whiskey barrel or whatever, and he's aging it in a barrel. All the same folks. That's it. So obviously, does the mash expand? Not when it's in? Because obviously, I've been on a brew. I mean, I've done right. So imp is lots of grains, less hops, but not having to set lots of times for the hop additions. Right, yeah, that's interesting. Longer mash, longer boil. Right. It is interesting. You know, from people who watch this, but people who want to get into brewing and want to get into grain brewing, and it's interesting. I mean, one of you does it Pifco, one of you does it stove, and that also is interesting. You know, it just goes through. There's always a way to brew. It's getting a beer that for me, I won't want to brew something that just I can get every flipping day because it's just boring in that respect. Good evening, Andrew. Yeah, doing bars rubbish these days, isn't it, mate? Absolutely rubbish. More chocolate and coffee and roast notes. Yeah, you see, if I'm going down the impy route, uh, I was thinking of adding. I was thinking of actually buying a small whiskey barrel, doing a brew, chucking it into a whiskey barrel, and letting it age for 7 or 8 months and seeing how it goes. Which is why I'm actually cheating by adding spirits. One that bumps the ABV up, but like getting a 500 ml bottle, 50 mils or thereabouts of whiskey, Irish whiskey, and then chucking Imperial in up to the amount, putting the lid on, and then leaving it for a bit. Yeah, I've got some DVDs, mate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love brewing is selling out barrels. Yeah, I mean you can cheat and get the oak chips and bourbon chips as well. So I've used oak chips in wines. Oh, it is interesting, Andy. It certainly is. I thought they did. I thought commercial breweries use bourbon in that. I know a local brewery near me, one in Mansfield, up the road, and good evening, Jack. And they use. I've seen what they've used. They did a rum and raisin stout, and they actually chuck rum in it. Which fair play. And then they've done a chili and chocolate stout. And in the ingredients, because I'm a nosy bleeder who looks at the ingredients, they had tequila and rum in the ingredients to bump the ABV up. And obviously the taste. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Just to do an imperial tequila stout. Um, it's you could get your favorite spirit as long as it's not milk based and add it because obviously milk curdles, doesn't it? You won't want to add Baileys to a stout. I think that's what they did. I think they soaked the raisins and the rum. So tonight I'm actually necking Wraggys Golden Ale. I'm don't know why I'm showing it the Chromebook. I've got the phone here and I've got the Chromebook down there because my eyes are crap, and the screen on the Chromebook's bigger. So yeah, the old Wraggys Golden Ale, and I'm saving the bottles because the bottles I'm going to use to as on the table me Reading renewal next year. So if you don't already know, if you haven't already seen, I'm renewing my vows next year with my wife. So yeah, cognac barrel aged stout, 6.5%. Desperado's too sweet. Yeah, it is a bit sweet, isn't it? Bourbon stout. I mean, a good way of doing a bourbon stout, especially if you've already got an air still, is to make your own bourbon and then make your own stout. Chuck the bourbon in with the stout, oh, and then you've really got something interesting, and it don't cost you too much either. Because obviously, go to the shops and pay for bourbon, not be the cheap. Oh, back to work tomorrow. Oh, these weekends go quick. I'm on a 4-day week again next week. So I've been doing 4-day weeks for the last few weeks because I'm trying to get rid of all my holidays. Tequila and beer. Yeah, I might do that. I've got over there, I've got Kahlua, brandy, whiskey, caramel vodka. I haven't already drank it. And I'm adding them to the Good Evening Ali. Yeah. So we're married 25 years next year, and we've been together 32 years. So yeah, I've had a lot of bollockings. Although to be fair, I haven't drank for all those years. There was years, many years, where I drank like twice in a year. Yeah, hey, imagine that these days. Jesus. Bandit Brew, 15 quid for the kit. You can't afford that for the kit, can you? Dark wheat beer and an oatmeal stout. Fair play there. So yeah, I mean, like all of us, we all want to, you drink beer and you want to explore. And sometimes you want to make a beer that you can't get or you just can't get anywhere. I would. I would, Danny, yeah. So say you're doing an IPA, I'd chuck both the yeast in because as long as it gets turns that sugar into alcohol, then you're laughing. I mean, you could always chuck an extra kilo of sugar in, well, just to really ramp up the ABV. Plus, you're going to get a lot more body in it. It's always better to use twice, double the kit up rather than use sugar. But you can see how the breweries do it. I mean, they don't use sugar to be fair; they use extra malts or whatever they use. I don't know, but to make the ABV bigger, obviously. I don't mind Desperado. I don't. As you know, it's got a nice taste to it. I can always remember when was it Glenfiddich made a whiskey ginger beer, something along that, and it was quirky. Cheers. Yeah, I'm on Facebook as well. Wilco's Winter Warmer. That is again, Wilco's have got some nice kits. And for the price, bearing in mind, 16 quid for their, I think it's still 16 quid for their top range stuff, and 12 quid for the core. And their core range, I love their core range. About the only one I could never get on with was when you had Cooper's, was it Cooper? Ginger beer. Bloody thing. It was always touching my door then. Shouldn't be touching my door. I'm out in the shed. But yeah, it always used to be murky ginger beer. Yeah, the Wilco's kits. My mate with his Wilco kit, he did a Corona style, the Corona lager kit, and he added lime to it. My God, it was strong. Yeah, I drank a litre of it and it battered me, steaming. 5 in the afternoon now, steaming my head off. Been away in York. Oh, I love Imperial Stouts, but Me and Goatee was with the other beer reviewers. So he was with Hopzine, Blue Nose Beer Reviews and Mersey Beers in Neon Raptor in Nottingham. And they were drinking some horrendously heavy beers. And I'm sipping because I was already rocking. And they're just necking them. And I'm like, Jesus, mate, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Yeah, that double IPA was a bit strong, wasn't it? You think you're a big beer drinker until you're with somebody else who really is a big beer drinker, and then it's like, well, I can't. And I didn't try to compete either. Couldn't find it in Wilco's this year. Oh, I suppose it depends on the size of the Wilco's. Certain Wilco's are different amounts of stuff. I have noticed that with Wilco. I mean, if you like your beer kits, the St. Peter's kits are outstanding. Especially the honey porter and the cream stout. Those two kits are amazing, especially if you bump them up a little bit. Bit more sugar, kilo of sugar in each, makes for good. And the honey porter kit, I actually added honey bourbon. Yeah, they were big drinkers. God, they're in a different league to me. Everyone says that I'm a big drinker. Not that big. Drinking Austin Pills. Hey, we drink what we drink, hey. 11% cherry bomb stout. Sounds nice. Mr. Barrel Brewery. Ooh. St. Peter's Ruby. Yeah. I've done the red ruby. That was nice. Did enjoy that. My wife's got some chocolate fudge essence in the kitchen for when she does cakes. So I'm thinking of putting some of that in one of my Imperial Stout bottles and seeing how that goes on as well. Good evening. Geordie Scottish Export, 4.8%. Does it taste like what it's supposed to taste, or does it taste slightly homebrewy? Some of the older kits, for me, have got this like homebrewy taste to them. And it always puts me off. But then again, it is banging, that St. Peter's. The Simply kits. So I've done the Simply ginger beer kit, and I've got to be honest, one of the cheapest kits on the market. It produces stunning ginger beer. I mean, I've done a boil of ginger root, added that to the kit. No, I've never tried making it. No, not yet. I'm always up for trying something new. I've done prune wine, yeah. Yeah. I might have to do prune wine for me renewal of the vows next year, and then give everyone a shot and say, right, yeah, you're here. Shot of prune wine, everyone. Yeah. Could you imagine people's faces? Yeah. Some prune wine that looks like diarrhea, basically. And oh dear, there'd be some faces. Oh dear. That would be a laugh. In fact, if I get the odor, if I do some grain brewing for next year, and if I actually get around to doing it, I might actually have a load of some of the Wraggys grain brewing beer on the bar. 500 kilograms of 500 grams of dark brown sugar. Mm. Me takes ages. Yeah, the prune wine. I've drank it all now. Yeah, yeah, it went through me. Yeah, in more ways than one as well. Let me tell you, it was an acquired taste. I think that's the thing, isn't it? With this, when you look at what commercial breweries do, and we all see it, where they chuck in loads of like limes or something to the boil. And I'm thinking doing the same, like you're saying there about adding dark fruits, adding a bag of frozen dark fruit. And you could do the same with cherries, plums, and there's lots of avenues you could go down. To get, I mean, for me, a cherry imperial stout is one of those that I'm really interested in, but something with a bourbon element to it as well. And if I have to cheat and either use bourbon or bourbon chips to get the same effect, I mean, I know that Bang the Elephant, when they did it, Lumiere was an absolutely stunning beer, and that was cherry, chocolate, imperial, fudge brownie stout, something along the lines. But crazy taste to it, and what an amazing beer. Treacle to make a dark lager. Wow, it's amazing what works, isn't it? Brewing your own stuff. It's that going from doing beers to brewing. So would the sugars take out the sugar, the sweetness of the treacle? No, I've never made wine from dried fruits. No, no. I've seen the kits. Cherry in your special brew. Eh. I mean, I've always wanted to do a proper plum, an imperial plum porter, and a butterscotch as well. I like butterscotch, but I want a strong butterscotch. Good evening, Mr. Jim. How are we? Crazy on the in the news, isn't it, mate? Um, bloody Putin. Has he lost his marbles? Or is he just being a dickhead for the sake of being a dickhead? Good to see that the Ukrainians are getting some arse. Like, yeah. If there was ever a time for superheroes to come out of the woodworks, now's the time and absolutely kick their arses. But yeah, yeah. I mean, what it is amazing is the world. I wish China would come on board. You get China and some of the East Europeans, Middle East on board against Russia, and really put Russia in the corner where they belong to be. I feel sorry for the Russian people though, because it's not their fault. They've got a dictator, a modern day Hitler. I reckon he's lost his marbles. I really do. You know, it's well, you've got like Iran, North Korea, obviously China doing what they're doing in Taiwan, and hardly anybody's noticing that shit. But oat chips in the beer. Ooh, you think somebody in Russia, when you look at it, you look at what's going on, and in any country, there's always somebody who thinks, right, I've had enough of it, and just take Putin out. At some stage, you'd think that would happen. It can't be that well protected. There isn't somebody who thinks, oh, sod it, bang. Red Dog Brewer. Ah, man, Johnny. Johnny's sound, he is. Yeah, he likes his beer. God, he can drink. Um, I've seen his brew kit. I've been to his house and dropped some Wraggys Golden off at his house. And because he lives near me. What's interesting, I found on the news earlier that in Azerbaijan, they were demonstrating. Now, Azerbaijan is very much a Russian, a mate of Russia. And for them to be demonstrating outside the Russian embassy there just goes to show you there's some of their feeling against Russia. And surely, you'd think I've seen that about Germany. Yeah. Do you know Russia might have unleashed a sleeping beast? Um, but to stand up to a bully, you've. I think they're playing it right at the moment. But should Putin go any further, then and you can already tell that the British now have got their is it typhoons flying across, patrolling Poland. So our planes are in Poland, flying across the skies to patrol the skies over Poland to make sure. He's. I mean, it's all right fighting one army, but when you're fighting multiple armies, and it's great to see don't you think it's great to see the Ukrainian people coming out and shooting the shit out of these soldiers? Fair play though, it's not really the soldiers' fault. The Ukrainians have only got 60 fighters. I didn't think maybe France and us have got a lot of planes, but I don't think anybody else in Europe's got many planes, have they? Well, obviously America certainly has, but it's a strange old time for the world. How it's blown up so much. I'm having to read down here, so if I'm looking down there, it's not because I'm being ignorant. It's because the comments are all down there. Although I can't see these latest comments, so hey, my computer's died, hasn't it? No wonder I can't see the bloody comment. Oh no, a Menibria Birra Italian. I like Menibria. Uh, Computer's died down there, bastard. God, my friend. Thank you, Jay. Um, where we go. Apologies, I'm behind on the comments. So the computer's done died on me, bastard. Germany, Italy, and Spain have a decent size there. Do they? Cheers, Joe. I tell you what, I do think that you push any country, you're pushing the Ukrainians to go to war. They didn't want this. They didn't ask for it. And you got to the stage now where you looked on the news yesterday, and I had tears in my eyes watching it. You had all these people. This bloke says, I'm a glass fitter. And he says, but I'm going to war. And these women, there's loads of women. And they all said, yeah, we're going to kill these Russians. And then you've had some video footage where some bloke's got an anti-tank missile on his thing. And he says, die, Russians. And I think he just blown up a tank. And it's like, bloody hell, talk about galvanising the country. Bloody hell, amazing. If Trump was still president of the USA, I don't know. That's what they risk creating, Tad, another Afghanistan. Because once you get the people, the ordinary people on the street fighting, then it gets a lot more interesting. I did see the thing about the Snake Island, yeah. Bloody laptop's gone on the right funky. I did, where they told them to fuck them. I mean, they might have died, but at least they did what they did. Fair play to them. Yeah, it's a pity the whole of Russia don't come out in protest. I mean, how many people can they arrest? And these police, they're fucking idiots, aren't they? Arresting their own. I don't know. Summer house built in the garden. Fair play. Can't beat your own little oasis. I wonder the same, Jim. I just wonder if this is Putin's endgame, where there's something going off, and all of a sudden he's gone on a mad one. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? It's come on, bloody computer, wake up. It does make you wonder if there's something more to it than because why would you even try and antagonize the fucking world? Well, I've got internet back on. Hey, here we go. I'm catching up there. Don't think I've missed anything too much. Oh, hey up. Roman Abramovich, eh? These rich people, they know what's going on, don't they? You would hope that Ukraine have claimed control of Kharkiv. I'm so pleased what they're doing. So sad to see people losing their lives, but you know, yeah, the Argentinians got their fucking horses handed to them, didn't they? Hey, 3,000 miles or however many miles it is away from us, and we still whooped them. Um, and yet, if the Argentinians were clever, they could have said to the British, "There's oil around those islands. Let's work together." Greed, money, and greed. But surely, you say Putin might press the button, but surely these days, I thought the Americans were building these like Star Wars weapons that could take out missiles that are, shot. And you know that the Americans are watching all the silos in Russia because they know where they are, and they know that I'm surprised they don't know where all the submarines are. And I thought they had these amazing systems that could take out, these weapons before they get anywhere close. It's certainly the most dangerous time in our lives, that's for sure. Not good for my bloody mental health, man. But good on the Polish team. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you noticed how Russia are getting dropped from everything? The old world's against them. What, China and maybe North Korea and Iran. It's amazing how the Middle East have stayed very, very quiet on the whole thing. North Korea have stayed very, very quiet. China have said nothing apart from we want them to have dialogue. FIFA's decided not to kick Russia out. Hmm. I mean, I've only recently put BBC the app back on just to keep ahead, just to keep an eye on what's going on. I mean, I generally don't follow the news because it's all shit. But with what's happening, it's great when you hear that the Ukrainians have whatever they're winning in some small way, and it's great to see. India already are a big power, mate, and I like you say they've got the people. I think India could be bigger than China if the countries of the world got India to build their stuff and kind of throws China out. Well, being the cheaper place to go to. I think. See you later, mate. I think India being being more friendly to the West than certainly China could be, you know. But what we need to do is stop relying on bloody Russia for gas and oil. There's the critical thing. You stop that, and then is it a surprise that the price of gas has gone up? Is it not that the Russians are putting the price of gas up? It makes me wonder. 50 million in difference in population. Bloody hell. A lot of shagging going up in India. Yeah, it is funny, isn't it? COVID seems to have gone off the agenda all of a sudden, doesn't it? No one's even interested about COVID anymore. Yeah, it does make you laugh. It makes you smile. Just makes me wonder, if you look at the EU and all these countries that are on about donating weapons, if all these weapons make it to the Ukraine and get to the people who need them, all these anti-tank, anti-air missiles, bloody hell, you could wipe out a lot of the Russian army. And there was some news story about was it the biggest airplane in the world, the Antonen something or other. But anyway, the Russians' biggest airplane that was blown up apparently. But obviously, there's a lot of false news, isn't there? So it's hard to know what's real and what's not, and how many Russians have already popped it. Oh, no one seems to be dying of COVID in Russia and Ukraine. It's interesting. I mean, it's not interesting for anybody dying, obviously, but it's interesting watching how it is. 4,300. That's a lot of people's, whose family aren't going to get their sons back or daughters even. Um, I saw people yesterday stood in front of tanks, like elderly people stood in front of tanks, and you could see these Russian lads driving the tanks. They won't go. They won't even try and run them over. And it just makes you wonder, doesn't it, that you are bloody wars and sheep and I wouldn't want my son going into a bloody war because of some idiot telling them, "Oh, go and fight them," for an unjust war, or because Russia don't want Ukraine joining NATO at some stage. And me, why they couldn't have just come to an agreement, and said, "Look, you need to stay neutral," and then fair play. The only downside is the whole country is going to be the Antonov 225. Yeah, seeing that with the tank. Yeah, is that right, Jim? I did read because obviously you're nosy, aren't you? So I read that the Ukrainian army was 200,000 people and the Russian army 900,000. But obviously, if there's lots of people in there who here's a gun and that, and there's nothing better than somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah, that car, bloody hell, that tank. What the fucking hell was that tank driver thinking? Dickhead. Good evening, Matt. The Ukrainian people are an inspiration to the world. You know, for me, Ukraine will be like Afghanistan. And you know, I was watching what I was watching last night. He does need crushing, mate. What I was watching on Sky News Sky News is brilliant. There was a military bloke doing like a look at the war so far, and basically, if he was in the Ukraine, he was basically telling the Ukraine how to beat the Russians, and he was saying, don't try and match them on the outskirts because you'll get wiped out. Bring them into the city, bring them down these small streets and roads, and then you take them out. And it was fucking amazing. It was amazing what he was saying. It was like he was giving the Ukrainians, if anybody watches English TV over there, a way of Wraggys Golden now. It was giving them a way to say, here's how you beat them. Get them into small roads where you can ambush the shit out of them. And that to me was really interesting. Good evening, Dad. There's got to be a lot of Russians who are fucking hating this. They're not all. I mean, let's be fair. If you look at Americans hated bloody Trump towards the end, apart from the certain minority. And there must be a lot of people in Russia who are, thinking, look at this, we're killing civilians, invading the country that we shouldn't be invading, and there must be a lot of pissed off people in Russia. These fucking idiots in charge. Yeah, mate, definitely. So on the old Wraggys Golden Ale, and wearing the old Lincoln Green t-shirt as well, funnily enough. And yeah, this time July 2023, we'll be doing me renewing my vows. I hope his people turn on him. Yeah, I hope I hope somebody high up goes and shoots the idiot. And for me, that's the only way Russia can win out of this, is for him to be, shall we say, eliminated. And I mean, they did it to Kennedy, didn't they? They took Kennedy out, assassinated him. No, it's not a homebrew. No. It's a commercial beer. So, Lincoln Green Brewery, based in Nottingham, are they still brewing Wraggys? Not at the moment. Um, there's a good chance, hopefully, that they'll do a rebrew this year. And with me announcing that I'm renewing my vows, I'm hoping to God that I can go down again and do another raggy beer with them. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, not at the moment. They've still got some beers. They've still got some raggy beers on their website, apparently. And I went to Adventure Beer this week, and they've got some raggy beers as well. So they're still about. I meant to check the date, the best before date, because I think these are June 2022. So not long after I brewed it, did they bottle it. So yeah, it's not a home brew. No, it's a commercial brewery in Nottingham that did a beer in my honour, which was really amazing that they did, and really nice thing. Right. Better start drinking up, I think, because getting the bollocking off the one. Hey, and she's worse than Putin when she wants to be. No, not that bad. But a bollocking I don't need in any way. But yeah, it's going to be interesting next few days over in Ukraine. Let's hope that they carry on, and you'd hope at some stage that they wind up the, you know, let's hope it gets to the stage where Russia think, shit, we need to get negotiating because we're never going to win. That's the way. Good evening, Geordie. How are we? That's the way that you hope it goes, especially if all this military stuff comes from. I mean, America, £6 billion worth of aid to the Ukraine. You know, military aid. The EU, UK, bloody hell, Sweden. It's like everybody. No, it was to thank me for all my positive beer reviews during COVID, and that. Yeah, I'm not dead. No, not yet. But yeah, if all this stuff gets to the Ukrainian people, Jesus Christ! I mean, if you can take out all their helicopters and tanks, take out airplanes with their soldiers in as they're coming down, bloody hell, that that would really hurt their army. It's bloody interesting. And it's great to see that a country fighting back against an aggressor. A wee Peroni. I like the Peroni's Doppio Malta, if I'm being honest. Not really keen on North, but I do like the Doppio Malta, the stronger version. It's really decent. It is tasting nice, mate. Good evening, Disco. Yeah, it's still tasting good. I mean, I'm hoping that I get to go down and do another brew with them, and announcing me that I'm renewing my vows today. It might spur them on, and it might not. Yeah, it's going to be interesting the next week or two. I wouldn't like to live in Poland or any of them bordering countries at the moment. But then again, let's be fair. Now that there's a no-fly over Europe, wow, that's interesting. Because now what Europe is saying is, don't you fly any of your planes over any part of Europe. They start flying their planes over Europe, then they're automatically going into a proper war. And it's a nice sessionable ale, mate. Yeah, it's a nice sessionable ale. Little dogs. What little dogs are they? The only down of it drinking 3.8% is don't feel in the slightest bits drunk or even half drunk. So I'll go up the house feeling rather sober. So never a good thing. Yeah. It's always nice to feel a little bit tipsy. Takes the edge off. But been a fantastic chat again tonight. And I tell you what, watching the news and over the next few days, it's like we've gone from one thing to another. From bloody a black car. I've been good recently. Yeah. I ain't even had a yellow. Well, I've had some yellow cards recently. Yeah. Oh, Russian dogs. Yeah. What it likes Putin like took the bum. Yeah. Oh, I'd love a brewery to do a collaboration Imperial style. That would be amazing. I keep putting it out there, but no one's taking the bait. You know how you are. Come on, someone take the bait. I do hope that Varvar Brewing over in the Ukraine are still okay. Did anybody see the news article about breweries making Molotov cocktails? So they're not making beer; they're making Molotov cocktails to to help in the you know, in the resistance and yeah. And you know, it's amazing how the country comes together into, you know, in the hour of need. And don't you think Putin's being a little bitch with this fucking oh, if you go into that country, I'm going to bomb you out of existence. I mean, who the fuck does he think he is? I really hope he gets his arse handed to him, and I hope the Ukrainians are the ones that do it. Yeah, I bet you are, mate. Yeah, scary time, scary time. And Putin's no idiot as well. So why he's gone down this route all of a sudden is either it just makes you wonder if he's just lost his marbles. I watched there was a news article where where his chief spy was there, and basically his chief spy was telling him not to go into Ukraine, and the way he talked to him like a piece of shit, basically, and it's like fucking hell. And this is how you talk to your people. Yeah, let's hope he does. Yeah, good riddance as well. Yeah. I mean, the Russian people don't need him in charge. You know, a few idiots shouldn't control that country. I do. I feel sorry for the Russians, you know, but they need to, in some ways, I don't know, overthrow him. I mean, it's like getting rid of Trump. Trump for America was one of the worst things ever. Bloody racist president that you know, incited a fucking riots and oh god, you know, an absolute arse of a president. And I actually thought Trump would be a good. When he first got in, I thought, oh, I like the way he talks. He's going to be a good president. Jesus Christ, was I wrong? I'll try, mate. Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, I need to get back on this watching streams and that and that. Yeah, karma's a thing. You know, they all get what's coming to them. Let's hope if anybody starts throwing nuclear weapons around that we can shoot the fuckers down, send a few back, and just wipe out exactly where he is. Don't wipe out all of Russia, but just wipe out that twat. Anyway, gotta run. 20 past 8. I think I'll be in for a bollocking if I'm any longer. Thank you for each and every one of you for joining tonight. It's nice to get back on the live streams and do some chatting, putting the will to rights. It's how it should be, isn't it? You know, and having a beer, albeit a weak beer. I think he's lost his marbles. I do. King God, it's amazing. You know this top three. At one stage, King Goblin was my #1 beer, but since I've discovered the world of craft beers, it's really hard. I think he is Hitler. He definitely is a Hitler. But yeah, King Goblin's still an amazing beer. But got everyone. Thank you all for joining, and cheers, everyone. Let's turn this fucking TV off.